Hello, welcome back sa channel. So this video is just me talking about the SB19 PAGTATAG documentary. I wasn't able to watch it sa cinemas kasi because of circumstances. The nearest cinema to me was 3 hours away and it was just a really busy month. And I was waiting for them to upload it somewhere on a streaming platform. And I'm very glad that they chose Netflix because Netflix basically is available to all people around the globe, and that means that more people will be able to watch it. I know that One Day Entertainment had it outside the country as well, like they played it outside the country in cinemas, but it wasn't available to really everyone. So I'm glad that they put it on Netflix. And this is just a disclaimer again. If I forget anything that has happened during that era, I apologize in advance. It was a while ago, and this is just me watching the documentary and my thoughts, and then commenting on what Onesie or even the boys have talked about in the said documentary. So I will be putting timestamps. So if you want to just jump on that, basically that part of the video, that would be fine by me. Now I will be talking in English because there are also international 18 that might watch this. Yeah, so I know the hair is crazy right now. The stylist just butchered my hair, but we will go to the meat of the documentary. So I think it's kind of like amazing how they chose Crimzone instrumental for the intro of the documentary. I loved it. Basically, it was badass. And then the onesie logo suddenly just came out. I was so happy. It gave me some kind of like a breath of hope or something, like a sigh of relief basically when I saw the onesie logo. Kasi I don't know, we will talk about more about that later. Now, when the documentary started, it was interesting that we started from where the Stell or the SB19 boys were choosing between the title track between Gento and Crimzone, and I do agree with the thoughts that they had. And also they said that they chose what could have happened if they chose Crimson at the title or the leading track for the Pagtatag era. They wouldn't have that much popularity with Gento, and I was thinking that I would kind of like disagree on that part kasi no, a lot of B-sides, in my experience, I've seen groups that have B-sides that is more popular than the leading track, especially because SB19 has made music videos for a lot of tracks in that specific album. With leading tracks, I said they have that popularity because the group has made a music video out of it. Usually, if a artist or a group has made a music video out of a song, people will get to know that song better because of the fact that it has a music video. But with SB19, with the recent naman, they have made music videos for several songs in that album. So I was like, if they were making a music video for Crimzone and then they also made one for Gento, I think those two would still have been popular. Pero I was also thinking about the fact that what if nga Crimson is what they chose instead of Gento as a leading track? That would have been an interesting take then, and then they would have released Gento. I think one of the things that made Gento really popular is definitely also the choreography. It is truly a ringworm kind of song, when especially when we come to the chorus. And then I think it is how the choreography was made. I know that the choreographer and also Pablo has talked about if the choreography is something that people can also dance to. Now, I am an attest to that because hindi ako marunong sumayaw. I don't know how to dance, but I kind of like I can get it. Like I can do it. Like how can a choreography be an earworm as well? I don't know how, pero it's just a choreography that is something that you want to do, and it because it hits the song so well. That is why one of those criterias is what made Gento very popular, is definitely the choreography and how it hits the song. Now, I knew that this documentary is going to be around the Pagtatag era because it is named the Pagtatag documentary. So of course it was going to be about I was already expecting that it was going to be from the making of the songs and then whatever part of the Pagtatag era would they have it end. My expectations for the documentary basically is just that we are going to see the Pagtatag tour and also we are going to talk about the legal that time when SB19 wasn't able to use their own name. That was a crazy time because as a fan's perspective, I wasn't able to know what was behind the scenes because it wasn't shared to us in a way because it is a thing that SB19 had to go through behind closed doors because it is a legal battle. So those were the two things that I was only just expecting from the documentary. And now we go to the I Want You music video shoot and also what the boys think about the I Want You song in itself. I Want You was a song given to SB19, but again, Pablo also tweaked the lyric style. He said it on the documentary, which I think was interesting because I was thinking that this is definitely new to SB19. During my reaction to the I Want You music video, even the music video felt very, very different from what they did back in the past because the music video wasn't really on the nose. It was filled with euphemisms, and you have to basically think of what this means and what those means, and those meanings can differ from person to person because it was very, very artistic. And sabi nila, the boys, that it is the first time that they have done a music video like this. And naiilang pa nga sila nun. But I actually loved the music video and even the song. People, SB19 have said that it is a genre R&B that they haven't really done a lot on, which I appreciate. I think, no, definitely. I Want You is my one of my favorites in the SB19 discography because it's very sensual, it's very sexy, and I love the fact that the boys gave so much feels to the song every time they perform it. It's definitely one of my favorites. It's just one of my favorites. And of course, it is a song that is mature because SB19 has also gotten older from the last album. So I expected I sort of expected that and sort of was pleasantly surprised that they said yes to the I Want You music video and song. The next point in the documentary that I wanted to speak about is the fact that the boys had to apologize to the scouts. The scouts is the dancers that are with them when they were doing the different shows in the different pagtatag shows here in the Philippines, and they apologized to the scouts because they couldn't bring them and all of the stops in the U.S. And I keep thinking that I was like, wow, it really does happen to like upcoming na mga artists because I remember like I can see a lot of artists that cross-cut their team when they go to tours. They cross-cut by not being able to bring the makeup team, not being able to bring all the dancers that they had, not being able to bring the production that they had in their homeland basically to the production to the tour that they do. I have seen that in what do you call this in 17 shows as well before. 17 is a K-pop group, and I was like, wow, it really does happen to everyone, especially with the up and coming na mga groups. And I think it was just super sweet for the boys to personally apologize to the dancers that they couldn't bring um them to some of the stops in the US. And I was looking at scouts and they had like at least 30 other people there, so I had like I'm gonna move here, so I was like, yeah, it's going to be logistically hard to bring everyone, which I think is something that they could do in the future. Definitely sabi ni Ken, baka in the future that they can bring, especially if they will be a big company in the future. I have 4 pages of things to talk about here, and I hope I can read whatever I put this. I wrote in here, when SB19 went on tour, they had a short segment talking about how tiring touring is. And as a person na mahinang stamina, I can never think that I would ever survive something as physically tiring as touring. Not only physically, but touring definitely tire you physically and mentally and emotionally, because tour means that you have shows that are back to back to back. You wouldn't been you would have like 6 hours of sleep, and then you would have to perform the same exact set list for the next day. And of course, like SB19 said, you would want to give your all in performing, because it is a different stop, because these are different people that are expecting you to go all out on your performances because they paid, and you as an artist want to give your all in every stop. And there was a portion, I forgot what leg tour was it, pero they had it in Webster Hall, that Pablo seemingly had couldn't finish his set of Kumunoy, and he walked out on stage after messing up the lyrics. And at that point, the boys talked that that stop really just had them emotionally and physically tired. And this documentary is different from what I um normally have seen with groups rin, kasi normally they had like a one-on-one on each, but a one-on-one as in sitting down on a well-lit na probably studio, pero with SB19 they sat together as a team, and then they had like one-on-ones during the tour mismo. And because this is not the first time that they have done this, this is a documentary for the things that they went through sa tour. They want us to see all the grit that has happened during the PAGTATAG tour, and we haven't even gone to that part yet. And just seeing them so tired, I was like, yeah, like touring talaga takes everything for you to survive. And that which reminds me of something that Miley Cyrus has said, because Miley Cyrus has been like, it has been brought up to her that why isn't she touring or doing a world tour. And Miley Cyrus said that being on a world tour gets so much from her, and it might be something detrimental to her sobriety, and her sobriety is very important to her. That's why she chose us not to do a world tour, kasi nga it's very physically, emotionally, and mentally taxing. And then after the Webster Hall, parang down tayo nun. We again went on a high because we went to Toronto and other stops, which I think the boys didn't have any other problem, because the energy and the mood was good. And that is just the reality of being a person. You have like highs or lows, and even the performer know you have highs or lows, but you try to make those experiences or performances the best that you can give, because the fans are there, and the fans basically are the ones, sinabi nila, that are giving SB19 the energy to perform well. And then bam, silence. I was looking forward to this part of the documentary, because again, I was not in the light on what was going on, kasi fan lang ako. I wouldn't be able to know what really happened behind the scenes. Do I look like I have blush blindness? I am sorry. But they were going to talk about the thing now, and I was very talagang ano ako nun, I was paying attention. And how, like, okay, we start from the very beginning that they talked about. Pablo's mom received a letter stating that they couldn't use the SB19 name anymore, which I was like super baffled. Of course, it was gonna be given in a letter, and it, of course, they received it 2 days before the anniversary fan con. Now, why do I feel like that was like super intended? Like they really waited for it to be the SB19 fan con before they gave the letter. I also am thinking about the fact that, these kinds take time, and that letter might have been sitting somewhere, and then it got approved to be sent 2 days before the fan con. I didn't even know that. Like, I didn't know that 2 days before that, hindi na sila pwedeng gumamit, or they received the letter. And they mentioned na the pangalan mismo na SB19, they weren't able to use that. They didn't mention any of the songs. I think it's because the amount of things that Pablo did. He is one of the producers and the writers of the song. Kaya siguro wala gaanong ganyan si toot to the songs, but the SB19 name, they weren't able to use that name. At that time, fans were already speculating on what is happening. I, on the other hand, was a little bit confused because if they don't use their name, does that mean that they could also use their songs? But then they were performing on some of the performances that they have gone to, and they performed their song. So okay lang. So yung pangalan lang talaga. So they resorted to using their real names, no? Which begs me to question that when they transitioned from leaving their ex company, weren't this settled na? Kasi I was thinking na when you leave your company, this is the first thing that you're gonna be fighting for, which is the name. And I think the team of SB19 got blindsided kasi if they weren't, then they weren't going to be um freaking out about this 2 days before the fan con. Kasi if they had like an internal agreement before leaving the company, and they shook hands on that, and they continued to use the SB19 name, I'm pretty sure that they were blindsided by Toot. Kasi if they weren't, then they wouldn't be doing or promising world tours on these kind like stops, and they would have made something out of that era, like a new name perhaps. So it begs the question. These are the questions that came out of me after hearing that they suddenly got a letter saying na hindi pwede. And I was like, hindi kaya nila to napag-isipan or um talk when when they transitioned from leaving the company that they were in, which I think they did. And then they were promised, and then the other team, that is just a scenario. Do not come for me, ex-company. Hindi ko naman i-mention yung pangalan nila, pero yun na nga. Y- that's the only scenario that I could think about, is like they were blindsided. The SB19 team were blindsided kasi I'm pretty sure this is the first thing that you talk about when you are leaving and trying to break away from your ex-company. I think the ex-company was just being pretty shady. So the after that, I was pretty much in the loop. After that, the fans themselves had a movement saying that we shouldn't use the SB19 name anymore, and we should resort to using Mahalima. And yes, there was a period that the fans used the Mahalima. It is an endearment for the boys, and it pretty much went on. And then suddenly, once the entertainment came to release a statement that they had an amicable agreement now. And I'm pretty sure that costed them a lot of money, because the other side wanted to bar them so bad. And I guess that's where money comes in, kasi nga the copyright, trademark, the intellectual property laws that are in place here in the Philippines, but it is owned by a international or a foreign entity. So I don't know like how did that go through. I know some things about the trademark, intellectual property, and copyright stuff because of the work that I did before, but I'm just happy at this point that they were able to make or bring back or get their name, because it's rightfully theirs. Like, are we kidding ourselves? That's rightfully theirs. It was, I was looking a little sad at that point because was so sad because of the canceled shows and the merch that they already had their name, even the logo they couldn't use. And if you are an SB19 member at that point, you would really feel like it is the most unfair thing that has happened because of the things that led it to them and the timing of that um event. And as a person who has seen the sways of the fans during that time, and also the fact that they removed their SB19 names on their Instagram and their Twitter was a little bit, oh my god, ano nang nangyayari? That was what I felt. And I'm just happy that even after the long legal battle, it's done. Now I have seen people that were a little bit let down about the fact that um the legal aspect of getting the SB19 name was only at this part of the documentary, but and they said that they want to know more. I'm pretty sure that they are telling us what the legal kung ano lang yung pwede, what is allowed to talk about, because I'm pretty much sure it's in the contract not to talk about this, not to, you can talk about this, you can talk about that. And this is the Pagtatag documentary. It is the journey of the Pagtatag era, and this is one part of the era. So of course, when it's closed, it's done. We need to stop talking about that because it was a dark time, and the next is just light times, dark times, light times. I don't agree na kailangan maraming parts of that legal battle because it was just one part of the journey of the Pagtatag era. Yeah, so, napayak ako sa part kasi after that part of how they won the battle, after they got the SB19 name again, they had a montage of the early SB19 boys dancing, practicing. Napaiyak ako nun kasi it's very much like different from the Pagtatag era na they are self-managed, compared noon on a small dance practice and a small team, and right now we have like a big team, big productions, people that worked with them before is also working with them now in their self-made company. So of course I am going to cry about that. I was tearing up, and then it doubled during the AAA. Hindi ko alam hindi ko You got even why? Oh my god, I'm a little bit tearing up. I was tearing up when they mentioned that, and then they played the AAA, which was again another historic thing for SB19 themselves. Even though they like there were dark days ahead, you are going to expect that the world is spinning. So of course, and my Joss, he is just, and he knows who are the good ones and the bad ones. And fitting na naman yung ending ng Pagtatag tour kasi it was in high spirits. It was with SB19 and 18. And that was the Pagtatag documentary on Netflix. Short summary of my reactions. I loved it. I'm not picky when it comes to documentaries naman. I'm just interested in how that specific na era or documentary, or parang yung mga thoughts ng ng tao na is on the documentary is what I am always looking forward to, a different perspective than what I know from that era, ganito ganyan. That's why I watch this documentary, and I am happy to have known the boys deeper, have known that Ken's Bisaya accent slips here and there. Style is such a soft-hearted person. He cries easily. That's fine by me. That's me. I'm a person who also cries easily. Pablo carries himself strong, but there are also times that he needs a break. Justin, soft-hearted as well. Josh is someone who I think Josh is someone who I want to talk to when it's hard. Kasi he came out as an understanding person and also an optimistic person during the documentary when he was doing the voiceover sometimes. And with Ken, I was happy to see Ken in a new light rin during the documentary. He talked a lot and I appreciated that. Pero yung na-notice ko sa documentary, it also felt like were they also filming it for their vlogs? Kasi sometimes the boys also talk as in real time, like see you there, ganito ganyan. So yeah, that is my thoughts about the SB19 Pagtatag documentary. I hope you guys enjoyed this. I know this is a different thing from the reaction videos na ginawan ko ng documentary reaction videos kasi it is Netflix. I am scared of getting striked and copyrighted. And I don't want to put the Pagtatag documentary here kasi alam kong we are aiming for a viewership rating, mataas na viewership on Netflix. So it just didn't make any sense for me to put it here on YouTube when it's available on Netflix kasi we are aiming for people to watch the documentary more. So that is my video, guys. Thank you for watching.